We are right now, as I speak to you here in the U.S., in the midst of turning the corner on the coronavirus pandemic, thanks to these vaccines and the mass vaccination effort. And despite that, a huge part of the country is still suffering the effects, not just of the disease, but the economic devastation it brought with it. A survey conducted just last month found nearly 17 million adults, 8% of all adults in the country, reported their household sometimes or often didn't have enough to eat in the last 7 days. By contrast, just 3.4% of adults reported their household had not enough to eat at some point over the full 12 months of 2019. Things are still really bad for a lot of people in this country, which makes it especially jarring when you remember that the wealthiest people in America have not just weathered the crisis, they have really thrived. One analysis found that between March 18, 2020 and March 18, 2021, the wealth held by the world's billionaires jumped from $8.4 trillion to $12.4 trillion. That's a 50% increase in wealth through the worst months of the pandemic in this country. I mean, look at Jeff Bezos, right? The founder and CEO of Amazon, the richest man in the world. In the weeks before the pandemic began, Jeff Bezos had amassed an estimated $130 billion. A little more than a year later, he is worth around $186 billion. He's worth nearly $60 billion more now than he was before COVID. Now, for context, Charles Koch is the 14th richest man in the world. Not bad. He's worth an estimated $64 billion. It is right now a very good time to be a billionaire. They have so much money, it's almost impossible to make sense of it, right? I mean, again, the math here is obvious, but just take a second to remember what we're dealing with here, because orders of magnitude are hard. If you make $50,000 a year, it would take 20 years to make a total of $1 million. It would take 20,000 years to get to $1 billion, right? $1 billion is so much money. Jeff Bezos is worth nearly $200 billion. At some point, the question becomes like, what on earth do you do with all that money? What do you do? It's impossible, utterly impossible to spend it. It's too much. So one of the most expensive things you can buy in the world, probably the single most expensive thing you could buy, is a yacht. And you'll never guess what? Yacht sales are absolutely crushing it right now. The market's been roaring, said Sam Tucker, head of Superyacht research at London-based Vessels Value. The number of transactions in recent quarters was record-breaking. The secondhand market is absolutely red hot. If anything, demand for extravagantly high-end yachts has outstripped supply. It's impossible to get a slot in a new build yard, Tucker said. They're totally booked. Huh. Tell me about it. Not surprisingly, Jeff Bezos, the world's richest man, is now going to build a super yacht of his own. Now, the world of super yachts is, as you might imagine, very secretive, but it is estimated that this new super yacht is going to be 417 feet long and to cost more than $500 million with a B dollars just to build. The thing is, that is about 0.2% of his total wealth, or about $130 is to someone making $50,000. Now, we don't know exactly what Bezos' yacht will look like, but this is a yacht owned by a Russian oligarch. It's about the same length. It's got giant masts like Bezos is expected to have. But of course, no ship is perfect, right? You've heard it a million times, as Bloomberg reports. One thing Bezos' ship won't have, because of its enormous sales, is a helipad. So Bezos and his partner, Lauren Sanchez, a helicopter pilot, have commissioned a support yacht. Yes, a support yacht, like a support dog, but yachtier, with a helipad. I mean, when the sales are too big, you can't lend your helicopter. You have to get a support yacht, because how do you get your super yacht without your helicopter? So this yacht is going to have a junior yacht, a little yacht. I mean, not little, but littler. And that yacht will have a helipad. And that little buddy yacht will go with the bigger yacht everywhere it goes, so that Bezos can fly his helicopter onto the helipad of the little buddy yacht and then go from the buddy yacht onto the bigger yacht. Are you following? This is the way the world is right now in the second Gilded Age. The amount of capital accumulation at the very, very top is incomprehensible, probably unrivaled in global history. And there are other people on that level. It's not just Jeff Bezos. There are a bunch of them. 9 of the 10 richest people in the world live here in the United States. The U.S. still has more billionaires than any other country, with 724, up from 614 last year. We added more than 100 billionaires in a year when most of the country was experiencing the worst economic downturn in a century. There's an argument that some kind of intervention is necessary here. One idea is that if all that wealth is just sitting there, tax the wealth.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.